You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. All right, folks, this morning, Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, took to the cameras and made it perfectly clear Donald Trump, he has committed impeachable offenses. It's time for him to be held accountable.
In America, no one is above the law. Over the past few weeks, through the Intelligence Committee working with the Foreign Affairs and Oversight Committees, the American people have heard the testimony of truly patriotic career public servants, distinguished diplomats, and decorated war heroes, some of the president's own appointees. The facts are uncontested. The president abused his power for his own personal political benefit at the expense of our national security by withholding military aid and crucial Oval Office meeting in exchange for an announcement of an investigation into his political rival. Yesterday, at the Judiciary Committee, the American people heard testimony from leading American constitutional scholars who illuminated without a doubt that the president's actions are a profound violation of the public trust. The president's actions have seriously violated the Constitution, especially when he says and acts upon the belief. Article 2 says I can do whatever I want. No, his wrongdoing strikes at the very heart of our Constitution, a separation of powers, 3 co-equal branches, each a check and balance on the other. A republic, if we can keep it, said Benjamin Franklin. Our democracy is what is at stake. The president leaves us no choice but to act because he is trying to corrupt, once again, the election for his own benefit. The president has engaged in abuse of power, undermining our national security and jeopardizing the integrity of our elections. His actions are in defiance of the vision of our founders and the oath of office that he takes to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Sadly, but with confidence and humility, with allegiance to our founders and a heart full of love for America, today I am asking our chairman to proceed with articles of impeachment. I commend our committee chairs and our members for their somber approach to actions which I wish the president had not made necessary. In signing the Declaration of Independence, our founders invoked a firm reliance on divine providence. Democrats, too, are prayerful, and we will proceed in a manner worthy of our oath of office to support and defend the Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. So help us God.
Eugene, Craig, I want to go to you on this one here. If you listen to Republicans, you listen to most of the folks on the Fox News, they are defending Donald Trump at every turn. They are protecting every lie. They are protecting the legal stuff this man has done. But you got folks like Judge Napolitano, who has said, bottom line is, they've got articles of impeachment. Ken Starr said on the Fox News, it's right there. What is amazing to me is to listen to Republicans try to say, no, because this is just a hoax. It's not right. No, he was really worried about corruption. It's just a damn lie.
It is. And the thing is this, right? Your current Republican Party lives with Donald Trump and dies with Donald Trump. Judge Napolitano is in a unique situation where, he's a former Supreme Court justice for the state of New Jersey. Ken Starr, somebody that, he was the lead prosecutor for the Clinton impeachment. And so, these are folk that come with actual weight and substance behind them. And also have they also have the independence, the not privilege, but the privilege of independence from Donald Trump. Whereas all the rest of these folk, they're worried about a primary, even though most of their filing deadlines have passed or are coming up. They're worried about, angering Team Trump. They're worried about, being cut off from things. And the thing is this, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. And I think this is going to define the GOP for at least the next decade.
This is the thing, Greg, that has to happen. There are people out there who are saying, you know what, Democrats, you're making a mistake. You're guaranteeing Donald Trump an election. I've heard a lot of people say that. But the reality is this here. You have to do something to deal with this man because he has no morals.
None.
He has no values.
That's right.
He has no principles.
That's right.
There is no such thing as boundaries.
That's right.
There's no such thing as a bottom.
That's right.
It doesn't exist.
That's right.
And so he will do more and it will continue. Remember, it was Nancy Pelosi who said Trump is going to impeach himself. And folks are like, what the hell is she talking about? Because remember, initially it was the election, asking Russia, hey, find those emails. That's breaking the law, asking a foreign entity to assist in the election. Then we, of course, had the Mueller report, firing Comey, obstructing justice, sending Corey Lewandowski over there to fire him, trying to get Don McGahn. He obstructed justice. Then you have the obstruction of justice. No, we ain't complying with no subpoenas. Today, his lawyers have gone to the Supreme Court saying, I should not have to turn over my tax records to Congress, even though the law says.
The law, brother.
The law says that that Congress can request the tax records of any American.
That's right.
That's the law. He is saying, hell no, I'm above the law.
Yes.
There you go.
And so in this case here, you have Democrats who essentially are saying, if we don't do this, this man will do whatever is required to stay there.
That's right.
And so they really have no choice. And all this other bullshit of, well, no, the Senate will never convict. Okay, in the history of the United States, this is only the fourth time we've gone down this road.
That's right.
And in the other two occasions, the person wasn't convicted. But it doesn't mean that you still don't do it.
That's right. Well, Roland, you put your finger right on it. And I doubt there's another news outlet in this country who has been talking about potential impeachment as long as you have. Because I remember sitting next to Representative Al Green right on your show as you had him make the case very early on. And of course, Al Green took to the floor of the federal legislature to say that he thought, why weren't there any non-white or people of color legal experts testifying? Could have had all of our sisters who come on the show consistently, but you put your finger right on it. This is really a test as whether or not this experiment we call the United States of America is real or imaginary. Of course, Nancy Pelosi has no choice. No congressperson has a choice. This man has, let's take aside all the litanies you put out, everything you just laid out, except one thing, the obstruction of justice. The minute you say that I am not going to respond to a subpoena and present any subpoena. Congress has the sole power.
On any topic.
The sole power. The minute you do that, now Pelosi has political choice. Do you send the Capitol Police to arrest this scuffed up guy out of South Carolina, Mick Mulvaney? Do you send the Capitol Police to arrest these people? No, so that's the political choice. And that's where I think we've got the real challenge here. Clearly, this man has broken the law. There's no doubt. But he is above the law as long as we allow him to be above the law. That's the issue.
Julian, this was a tweet. There were two tweets that David Axelrod sent out today that I have to call out. Go to my iPad. For those who want to skip ahead, the House will impeach POTUS by the end of the year because what he did warrants it. The Senate will hold a trial in January, but not convict, regardless of evidence, because he has absolute control of his party, and then we will move on. His second tweet was, impeachment will eclipse all for the next 7 weeks, and then it will recede, and the other events will supersede it as the election year moves on. Here's the problem I have with that. One, is it correct? Yes. But the problem I have with that is that far too many TV anchors and commentators and columnists and political contributors, they have treated this like it's a game.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. They have reduced this thing to this, look, What's the big deal? I mean, okay, look, Senate's not going to convict. Why are you wasting your time? The problem here is, and then you hear, of course, Republicans say, well, you've got to have overwhelming bipartisan support, and it doesn't exist, so therefore you shouldn't do it. Well, first of all, impeachment design is a political process.
Yes.
It's not a criminal process. It's a political process. The issue here, as I said, if you don't go down this path, what you're saying to Donald Trump and any future president, you can do what the hell you want.
That's right.
That's exactly it.
You can lie,
Cheat,
you can blow
steal.
us off, you can cheat, you can do whatever. You have absolutely no need to listen to anybody. There's no such thing as three branches of government.
That's right, brother.
We don't even exist. So just go ahead on, King President. They have no choice but to do it because it is the right thing, the honorable thing, and it is the proper thing and the constitutional thing to do.
And the necessary thing to do. They must do it. He has broken so many laws. He has been so, the whole thing about ignoring a subpoena, nobody does that. But he has done, as I said, whatever he wants to. King Trump. So Nancy Pelosi has been very considered about this. She didn't jump on the impeachment bandwagon right away. Congressman Al Green, on the other hand, I think as soon as he got there,
Day one,
he said he wanted to impeach. Now I think that was a little rushed, but I think
the Muslim ban.
Well, no, but remember, he said from day one impeachment because it wasn't rushed. Here's why.
No, break it down.
Remember,
Break it down.
It was Representative Al Green said it was based upon his election conduct. Remember,
That's right.
The moment Trump stood at that podium and said, Russia, if you're listening,
That's right.
go get those 30,000 emails.
That's right.
He broke the law.
Broke the law.
So Green was absolutely correct. The law says you cannot ask for a foreign help in an election.
That's it.
So when people criticize him and Congresswoman Maxine Waters and the freshman members of Congress, Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, Rashida Tlaib, that's why they were calling for it. So he actually did it before he became president.
That's right.
And continued it after becoming president.
That's right.
And now, so it's just like
That's
and
right.
something,
the
Comey,
Yeah.
now Ukraine, that's what it's all about.
And if it's a patriot,
Go ahead.
call them patriots.
Go ahead.
That's right.
they are patriots.
That's
I mean,
right.
Basically,
If there's such a thing.
if the Constitution has any meaning at all,
Exactly.
he needs to be impeached.
Come on, Doc.
It doesn't matter whether the Senate fails to convict him.
That's right.
It really doesn't. He, first of all, goes down in history as one of 4 presidents who's been impeached. I'm sure he doesn't care, but he goes down in history for that. Secondly, the next president who tries to mess like that knows that
Right.
Congress is not going to put up with that.
Well, no, Dr. Malvo, actually, you made a very important point, and this is where Jim Jordan, who of course has no shame, people crying to him because they being sexually abused at Ohio State, and he turns a blind eye. This is where Louis Gohmert, this is where that fool out of Georgia that got blistered by the law professor from Stanford yesterday, this is where they all are clear. What you're articulating presumes there's the United States. They know, no, seriously, or that there's a standard of truth that binds to it. Their strategy now is to say, we don't care about truth. We don't care. This is why I say this is the
Right.
party
None of it matters.
we have the votes and we will run this till the wheels fall. Their defense of Trump is, yeah, he did it, but we're with him. And so as long as we kind of make this about the truth and the Constitution and standards, we are playing into the hands of people who have now had a strategy of we don't care about nothing but winning. And Russia, we with Russia too if we win.
And Julian, the mistake that we also make, again, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, the mistake that we make on the Clinton deal, somebody just posted this on YouTube. Clinton was impeached for sex. No, it's not true.
Come on now.
Perjury.
He was impeached for perjury.
That's right.
He lied.
Right.
That's why he was impeached. Now, he lied about sex,
But he
lied.
But he lied.
So the point there is, you as the President of the United States, you do not have the right to lie to Congress.
You must cooperate with Congress.
Unless you don't.
Even Richard Nixon. Even Richard Nixon cooperated with Congress. Now, it took him a while, But he did cooperate.
Why did he die? Why do you think he did? Do you think he cooperated with Congress because ultimately he believed in something beyond his personal power grade?
Who?
Like the United States? Nixon.
No. Remember, he cooperated with Congress to a certain extent. When he said, I will not turn over my tapes.
That's right.
Then Congress said, oh, no, we will compel you. Then he sued the Supreme Court. Unanimously said, no, hell no. You got to turn the tapes over. And he knew game was over and resigned.
Oh, you know,
because he knew the moment he turned those tapes over.
You know, it's interesting, Roland, because remember in that whole Saturday Night Massacre business, eventually he went through till he found an attorney general and people in the Department of Justice who would back him. In that conversation were William Rehnquist and Robert Bork. Now, Rehnquist's old law clerk is the Supreme Court Chief Justice, John Roberts. John Roberts is going to have a decision to make. First of all, they should not be in court trying to argue that these subpoenas should stick. Why?
Right.
These are three separate branches of government. The judiciary has nothing to do with this legislation. So John Roberts will have to make a decision about that.
And matter of fact, and watch this here, watch this, folks. Watch to see if the Supreme Court has the guts.
That's right.
To stand up for the integrity of the court.
That's right.
If the Supreme Court actually was a body of integrity, it would be a unanimous 9-0 decision.
That is exactly right.
That Trump must listen and must comply for Congress because that's the law.
That's exactly.
If I need y'all to hear me.
You'll see it before that.
Eugene, that's the piece. If
you'll
go
see
ahead,
it
go
before
ahead.
that when this tax return issue.
No. That's what I'm talking about.
What
What I'm talking about is on the tax return deal. If the Supreme Court does not be, if they are not unanimous, that means that this Supreme Court, this conservative leaning Supreme Court, has decided we are a political body.
That's right.
And not a nonpartisan judicial body.
That's it.
You know, the most recent...
Julian, then Eugene, then I got to go to two more real things before I go because I'm over time. Go.
These Republicans testified that they were strict constructionists, that they believed the Constitution as it was written. So now we're seeing that they lied. So, you know, John Roberts has tended to be, I won't say a little left, he has tended to hew with the Constitution, but I don't believe that Brett Kavanaugh will.
Again, I'm not. See, I get that. That's a 5-4 decision.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that's 5-4. So right, John Roberts should do that because the Chief Justice Eugene is supposed to respect and protect the integrity of the court.
That's right.
What I'm saying is this should be 9-0. Alito.
No question.
Gorsuch.
That's right.
Kavanaugh.
That's right.
Clarence Thomas. It should be unanimous that a president must comply with a congressional subpoena. He cannot deny it. Eugene, your final comment.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to see 7-2. I think Roberts probably forced him to comply, and I think Gorsuch and Kavanaugh probably side with the protecting the court. Alito and Thomas are just too political. I mean, Jeannie Thomas, Clarence Thomas's wife, is one of the biggest Republican activists you ever come across.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Fam, it's the holiday season. This is when you think about spending time with your family and friends. This is also when you count your blessings and support those less fortunate. This year, become a holiday hero and change someone's life forever. Right now, hundreds of thousands of Americans are sitting in jail without being convicted of a crime. Why? Because they can't pay their bail. Think about it. If you are arrested for any minor offense and you go to jail, if you don't have the money, you got to stay there until a court date is scheduled. That could be weeks, that could be days, weeks, or even months. Some black folks were there for years. Simply put, America's bail system is broken for people of color. Freedom should be free, folks. That's why the Ebony Foundation has partnered with the Bail Project and is sponsoring the Home by the Holiday campaign. The Bail Project has helped bail out thousands of people over the years, and with your help, they plan to bail out 1,000 people by New Year's Day. What they want you to do is make a donation anywhere from $25, $50 to $50 or more to do so. Now, of course, people of color represents anywhere from 50 to 90% of the jail population across the country. Now, check this out. Without bail, nearly 90% of those charged with misdemeanors plead guilty because they're trying to get out. However, when bail is paid, less than 2% receive a jail sentence. Sometimes justice just need us. If you want to donate, folks, and help the Ebony Foundation, go to homebytheholiday.com. That's homebytheholiday.com. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.